Welcome to Carry On Wisdom by Renee Coaching, turning travel experiences into lessons that help you move forward.
Hello, fellow travelers. Here's a little carry-on wisdom from a recent trip. I arrived at my hotel in New York and was excited to see a restaurant right across the parking lot. I quickly checked in, dropped my bags in my room, and headed back down to get a quick dinner. After arriving at the restaurant and being seated, the server arrived and I placed my order. I wasn't very hungry, so I chose an appetizer for my meal. It would be just enough to satisfy my hunger. When the food arrived, something immediately caught my attention, not with the food, but with the plate it was on. The edge of the plate was covered with fingerprints, smudges, and marks left behind by the hands that prepared it. It wasn't enough to ruin the meal, but it was enough to make me pause. No, I did not make a fuss. I just asked for extra napkins. When the napkins arrived, much to my surprise, they too were stained. I sat there, looking at the plate and the napkins, and couldn't help but to shake my head. The very things intended to help solve my problem, hunger, seemed to be carrying problems of their own. I was a little irritated, but this brought a deeper lesson. Life has a way of serving us plates that look ready, acceptable, and harmless on the surface. These are plates like advice, opinions, expectations, and opportunities. But sometimes what is handed to us has already been mishandled by someone else's fears, assumptions, disappointments, or limitations. Sometimes what looks clean is carrying hidden residue. What's offered as help is actually baggage. And if we're not careful, we will accept these beliefs without hesitation because they were handed to us by someone we trust. What happens next is that we continue to carry opinions we never chose, and we adopt limitations that were never ours. This just proves that not everything offered to you belongs with you. Some convictions need to be questioned. Some perspectives need to be wiped down and sanitized. And some labels and mindsets simply need to be returned. I know this firsthand. There was a time when I accepted almost everything that was handed to me. Advice that wasn't meant for my journey. Opinions that didn't align with my purpose. Expectations that belonged to someone else's vision for my life. I carried them because they were offered by people I respected. I carried them because I assumed they must know something that I didn't. Eventually, I discovered that carrying this unnecessary baggage only made my journey heavier. But the weight wasn't always physical. Sometimes it was the weight of doubt. Sometimes it was the weight of guilt. There are labels and assumptions and fears that are placed in your hands long before you realize you can sit them down or toss them aside. But the longer you live, the more important it becomes to evaluate what you're carrying. Not every piece of advice or idea deserves a permanent place in your thinking. That's why discernment matters. Discernment helps you examine what is placed before you take ownership of it. Discernment gives you permission to ask questions and look closer. And discernment allows you to pause before accepting something just because it came from a trusted source or arrived in a pretty package. The older I get, the more I realize that wisdom isn't just knowing what to pursue. It's also knowing what not to pick up and what to put down. If we aren't careful, we will spend our lives carrying ideas and thoughts and responsibilities that were never assigned to us. That's why discernment is so important. Discernment will help you travel lighter. It will help you separate what is truly yours from what was simply passed on to you from those you love. Every mile of purpose becomes easier when you're no longer carrying someone else's residue. Before you accept what's handed to you, pause, inspect the plate. You don't have to carry what was never meant for you. Discernment is your clean napkin. Use it well. And as you travel through life, remember, pack the lesson, carry the wisdom, and keep moving forward.
We hope you enjoyed today's insight. Remember, wherever life takes you, pack the lesson, carry the wisdom, and keep moving forward.